today's video is going to be kind of informal, and hopefully I won't have to edit it a bunch because I don't have a lot of time to do that. I mainly need to be working on school stuff, especially book work, things of that nature. But because of the first printmaking project that I had to do, I've been thinking a lot more about my tarot project, and the reason that I'm recording this video today to post today is because I do want to put a video out, but the next couple of videos that I had recorded ahead of time are quite long, and I'm not finished editing them yet, and some of the smaller videos that I do have are either just buried in my photos and everything, or they just wouldn't make sense to post right now. So I'm gonna go ahead, and since it's on my brain, I'm gonna ease that compulsion to talk to you guys about it. So basically, I have this whole notebook with like all kinds of different like sketches and stuff. Like my project, it's going to be a tarot deck, but it's not going to be the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith archetypes and everything. It's going to be based off of that, but I'm thinking, I don't know, the more that I get into researching the whole actually producing the deck, all of the steps involved in that, and just different things of that nature, I'm thinking that probably I'll do like a lot of other people have done and just put it on Kickstarter, meaning that, I don't know, I kind of want to take that as an opportunity to do a little more instead of just always offering the same kind of mass-produced deck that I have to get printed somewhere and shipped to me or whatever. I don't know, I watched a couple of videos about making your own boxes and things, and I save almost all of the cardboard that comes through this house, so I have a lot of cardboard just stored for now. And I have been thinking about the possibility of offering some kind of tier, or like eventually on whenever I have just an actual art shop online, if I just want to add that as an extra thing that people can buy whenever I have the deck as a regular item, which, you know, is a while in the future because I'm just not at the point yet to even have the store launched, so I'm still kind of working on that in the background, but it's going to be a while on that because there's just so much going on, and I'm only taking 2 classes this semester, which is gonna have to change pretty soon because I really need to get done with classes sooner rather than later so that I can just, for 1, be completely done with things, and for 2, not have to pay out of pocket for things, because I'm getting to the point where I've changed my major a few times, I've been in school a long time, had extenuating circumstances get in the way, to the point where I'm at the limit of the time that I am eligible for financial aid, basically. So I gotta go ahead and finish school as soon as possible, which has been my main goal for a while now, but now I've kind of really gotta put the pedal to the metal and just get it done. So luckily I'm taking printmaking this semester, which is forcing me and also allowing me the opportunity, both sides of the coin I guess, to think more about the designs for the actual cards that I'm going to be making in my deck. So I was saying another thing and I forgot and got off on a tangent, but what I was saying is the whole thing about Kickstarter. I kind of want to do my own boxes, but it's not really practical at all to say, oh, I'm just gonna, you know, every single tarot deck that I sell of mine is going to come with a handmade recycled box. Like, I can try my best to find a printer that will use recycled materials, but I just can't offer that. So I was thinking, playing around with the idea of maybe just every box of cards that I actually have a printer do be included with a tuck box, just standard tuck box, and then of course the little white book or whatever. That'll be probably a more simplified version of the kind of behind the scenes pocket sized guidebook that I want to create, which kind of goes more in depth into the reason that I'm doing the tarot to begin with, and the meanings behind it, and how it connects to anthropology and sociology and social problems and all of that, which is one of the main reasons that I'm actually doing this, because the tarot gives me a structure in which to express all of these different ideas. And tarot decks are a thing that people who are into it are really into it. So people who go out and support Kickstarters for tarot decks will have so many different, like they'll have a whole collection. So I know that the audience is there. The market is there. And I know that my artwork is going to be good, because I'm not going to put it out there until it is up to standard and cohesive and telling the right story that I want to convey. So it's not going to be the exact traditional story of the Fool. Actually, the card archetype that I'm putting in place of the Fool is going to be the other. And in a way, the whole deck itself and the project is going to be kind of a deep dive, critical look at a lot of the systems and customs in the world today, especially in the context that I am in, being here in America, in the southeastern United States, being obviously English is my first language. I know bits and pieces of other languages here and there, but mainly, you know, you can kind of get certain ideas about my background from how I behave and the way that I speak and stuff, I guess. So, I don't know, make whatever assumptions you want to, but basically that's kind of just a disclaimer to be like, obviously I'm just one person working on this project and I'm not going to be able to cover all bases, and everything's biased anyway, so it's going to be coming from a specific point of view, but hopefully I'll be able to do it in such a way that it will be helpful and informative. And the way that I'm thinking the cards are going to go, I think it will actually be a good deck probably for doing all types of shadow work. I don't know the most about all the shadow work stuff. I kind of do my own version of internal shadow work on a consistent basis, just trying to like regulate things and be better, but I don't do a lot of structured things. But I feel that's kind of the vibe that I get from some of the cards and some of the ideas, is that it will be really good for that. So eventually, like 3 years from now or something, when I'm finally launching this deck, if y'all come across this video and you go and purchase my deck, please let me know if it is good for shadow work, because I would love to know how you guys do use it when it is finally an actual product that I can put in people's hands. Which leads me into another point that I was making with one of the previous statements, which is that basically, since there is such an avid market for tarot decks, especially ones that are not just Rider-Waite-Smith clones, I would assume that people really go crazy for decks that are well thought out and well done and decently produced, at least. So that will be a really good way to get some of my ideas and some of my work writing maybe in the guidebook, and some of the general problems that I feel need to at least be addressed and considered that we're facing in our society or our culture today. Like I said, specific context, I'm not necessarily talking about everybody in the whole world, but I definitely want to help, I guess, bring people to a place where we can all actually address these problems in productive ways. So this will be a really good conversation starter, jumping off point. It'll allow me a way to build a more specific and niched audience and following in the online spaces that I'm in currently, I guess. And I don't know, tarot is fascinating to me. So that's basically why I'm being all obsessive with it right now. But anyway, I wanted to kind of show you guys the print making plate. It's a piece of plexiglass that I have etched into with like a stylus. So this is going to be, like, the only reason I'm showing you this is because I'm super proud of it and it's amazing, and you can try to rip off this design, but like, I mean, these kind of designs have been done. I feel like I've seen these kind of images 100 times before. This is just my version, and look at the sunlight. It looks so good in the sunlight. So I'm not going to give away all of my ideas and cards to begin with, but like I said, the first, or the 0 card actually, is going to be, instead of the Fool, it's the Other, and this, instead of the World, it's going to be the Creation. I forget which number card this is, and honestly, I should have had the number printed on this. I'm trying to think about how I could add that in. If I actually turn this into like a drawing or a painting or something, what I could do is, in like this spot here, I could do like a circle with the number in it up there. I can't remember. I think this is the final card, the 22nd card, but yeah. So I've been working as hard as I can, as often as I can, on trying to just write down all of my different ideas, sketch thumbnails, all kinds of like word associations and stuff in this notebook, and a couple of other different notebooks and sketchbooks that I have. And I haven't been doing the best job at it, but I do have a decent amount done, and I know more of the direction that I'm going in from here. So I'll definitely be able to fill in a lot of the blanks more quickly than before, I guess, would be a good way to put it. But one of the things that I was thinking about doing is, I don't know if I'll make it a Kickstarter exclusive, because I don't know, I don't necessarily want, especially if I were going to do the project I'm about to describe, I don't want to do such a large project and then only have it available just for the Kickstarter. So maybe I'll be like, it's going to be a Kickstarter limited run, and then I'm not going to reprint this more extended version of the deck that I'll tell you about in a second. But I won't reprint it for a certain number of years, or I'll only reprint a certain number every once in a while. I don't know. But I want to do a version that has a whole other suit. So instead of 4 suits, there would be 5, which my suits aren't the traditional suits. It's going to be different. And I don't have all of the specifics of everything nailed down yet, so I'm not going to say something here and then change it later and everybody be like, oh, but you said this. But anyway, so I want to do a whole extra suit and 5 extra Major Arcana cards, so that there's 27 Major Arcana cards and 97 cards total. So the thing about that is that I was born in 1997 on September the 7th. So obviously those numbers are like big in my life. So I figured that maybe if I could do, you know, as many reiterations of that as possible, like if I could somehow work it out to where I could have the 97 card deck. I mean, I could just add 1 extra Major Arcana card, and that way it's just 79 instead of 78. That way it's still the same numbers, but it's less work. But honestly, I feel like I could do a lot of extra cards. I could continuously add in new cards as long as I was continuing to work on it. But I gotta cap it off at some point, and I just feel like that kind of fits. So anyway, like I had said, I'm not sure if I'm just going to do that as a kind of super limited run, or if I'm only going to offer it in like a deluxe edition set that I'll have also available on my website later. I don't know, like I said, this is a long time in the future, because another thing I was gonna say is there'll be, in the extended version of the deck, there will be the 27 major arcana, and I am hoping to have all of this done so that I can launch it either before or like during my 27th birthday. Synchronicity. So that would be really cool if that were able to happen. And actually, in less than a week, on this coming Tuesday, I will be turning I will be turning 24, I think. Yes, that's correct. So that gives me almost exactly 3 years to go ahead and get this done. So I was talking to my printmaking professor about, I'm definitely going to be taking Printmaking 2 in the spring, because it's only ever offered in the spring. And then we were kind of discussing the possibility of how I could be in the print studio in the fall also, like next fall, a year from now, because I think that that'll probably end up being my graduation date, hopefully, is by the end of next fall. I don't know for sure, because it really will depend on how many classes I can take at once and exactly how much longer I have before financial aid does cut me off. But I'm gonna work on that and figure it all out, and either way, it will give me some amount of time in the print studio that I can be working on my cards. And now, with drypoint etching, I obviously hate myself for doing this. Like, this was a bad idea. This was too many lines, too small, too much, too many mistakes that could be made, and it was way more work and time and wear and tear on my hands and even elbows than I thought it was going to be. So definitely you will not be seeing a full printed drypoint line of cards or prints at all. I might probably, this was the very first print I ever made, pulled off of this, obviously. So obviously there's several problems with this, like it's not dark enough here, the lines in the DNA are not dark enough, there's certain parts that are really washed out. But for a first print, you can tell what it is, you can read what it says, it's not that bad. And the second and third ones that I did were not bad either, but I think I've figured out a technique that may work a little bit better. So I'm going to try that out tomorrow, because my classes are Tuesday, Thursdays. So we'll see how it goes. I might update you guys if you really actually want an update on this, just let me know. But I think she had said that the copper plate etching is going to be the next thing that we do, which that is going to be, you basically just draw on it with a crayon and then you set it in a bath of acid and it eats away at the copper, and then you do the same kind of printing process as the plexiglass plate, but the actual creation process is a lot less labor intensive when you're making the plate or the matrix, the print matrix. So that might be a way that I go, but even with that, I would be limited, because there are ways that you can add different colors. Like, I'm actually going to do this particular print in a rainbow gradient also. Like, you can add spot colors too, but it's just not, it's not up to par with a lot of my other work. I really love color, a lot of vibrant, bold, extravagant color, and I do like the thick black outline. I like the kind of almost coloring book page style artwork is kind of what I go for a lot of times. And I don't know if that's just like the style I'm gonna continue with or what. I don't know. One of the other pieces that I already have completed that I think I might do minimal editing to before I make it into a card is, I probably haven't showed you guys before, but it's called Divine Connections, and it's going to be in place of the Hanged Man, and the title on the card is going to be, instead of the Hanged Man, it's going to be the Savior. It'll make sense when you see it later, but with that one, I did actually mess up the original a little bit with my line work. I didn't do as good of a job as I wanted to. But then I also have done oil and acrylic paintings and things, and I like that style as well. So I'm not sure if I want to go, you know, colored pencil and ink, or painting, or if I just want to go the easy way out completely and just, as soon as I get an iPad with Procreate, just do all of my painting on there. So lots of considerations to be made, but one thing that I did want to say was that I was thinking of how I might do the minor arcana, because I don't want to just do pip cards, like just numbers, just whatever, because for one thing, some of the suits are more ideas instead of actual physical objects. It's not like a cup, it's like bounties, right? So I couldn't super easily and very aesthetically present that in pip card format anyway, but I don't want to. I want them to be kind of more full scenes, whether it's like a landscape or a still life type or portrait of some kind of character or something. I want them to be kind of little vignettes into some kind of social problem or some kind of occurrence in the world, something that people might not think about as hard as maybe I do, I guess. I don't know. It's all going to tie in together and make sense, but I was thinking that maybe as a good way to guide those, I could go ahead and start curating some quotes, whether it's song lyrics or book quotes or just speech quotes from different places and people, and use those as kind of guides for each individual vignette, like match a specific card to a specific quote to work from. And then I'm also gonna be, I'm not gonna be trying to stray completely away from the original meanings of the cards, especially with the cards that are a one-to-one exchange from the original deck to mine. Like I said, they will have all new names, they will be kind of new characters, but it's almost like, I don't want to say a corruption of the original, but in a way, because in a lot of ways the world that we live in today and the society that we've built kind of processes, it's like processed and refined. That's a good word for it, because not everything about the modern world is a corruption of what should be or nature or whatever, but it's definitely more of a refinement. Like we take from the world and nature and we create things, and then that's a lot of our world nowadays. So I don't know, I think that's about all that I had to say. I'm probably gonna go back and do some minimal editing to this video. I'm gonna try to have it up by 7:15 and no later. So hopefully I'll go ahead and have it scheduled and the description typed out by then. But this was just kind of a ramble because I'm really frustrated that I don't have more time and energy to sit here right now focusing completely on just making the tarot cards and getting my deck done and doing different paintings and drawings and all this research and stuff. Like, I still do plenty of research all of the time. Like, that's what I throw on some kind of YouTube videos while I'm sitting here eating, and I'll like have my notebook so that if I need to write down notes or I get some inspiration, I catch it. But I just don't have the time and energy and other resources at the moment to do a whole lot more than I have been. So this is my way of easing these feelings by talking to you guys about it. So thanks for listening. And I am not currently super active on a lot of social media. My main go-to is to just put YouTube videos on for myself while I'm doing other things, or to go scroll through memes and stuff on Facebook. But I'm going to try over the next little bit of time to go ahead and get a little more active on especially my art pages, so that I can go ahead and be posting these things that I'm doing and actually talking about them, so that people hear it and see it and follow my page, so that 2 or 3 years from now in the future, whenever all of this is settled and I'm actually publishing and printing my deck, people will know about it because they'll already be following me. So with that in mind, the Ari Talks videos are not always going to be about tarot. They're not always going to be about art. They're just going to be about whatever. Possibly in 2 weeks on the next Ari Talks video, it might be an overview of my different inspirations and concepts that I'm working with in my art, and just a general overview, because that is the next video that was supposed to be this week's video that I'm still in the process of editing, because I try not to make them super long videos, but it's going to be a super long video. I said this one wasn't going to be super long. It's already 28 minutes in real time. It might be shorter when I cut it down, but I try to cut out what I can, but it is going to be kind of long, so that may be the next one or it may not. We'll see. Just let me know what topics you do enjoy hearing me talk about, because I will make some kind of effort to talk about that more. I will do my utmost best to keep the ukulele covers coming every Friday or Saturday. Right now, I've tried to get it to where I'm doing it on Fridays, but it's still kind of wonky. And then plant videos, I have a couple of those already edited. I just have to actually upload them and post. But I will have to do some more editing on those in the future. Hopefully I'll be able to manage everything, even with school and my brain going crazy about not being able to do all my tarot stuff right now. But stick with me, and I can't promise it'll be everything you hoped for, but hopefully it'll be worth it, and I'll be here, and I try my best, and I try to be funny, and I don't know, hang out with me. Thank you. Subscribe if you want more. Comment. I'll get around to it eventually. Eventually I do respond to all the comments, even if it has been like a week or more. I do get to them. I just have to be in the right brain space. Thank you so much for watching. I won't see you, but you'll see me next time. So until then, have a great day and stay golden.